So welcome to today's webinar, looking after skin, daily skincare and avoidance of pressure areas. So what is a pressure ulcer? Pressure ulcers, also known as pressure sores or bed sores, are injuries to the skin and underlying tissue primarily caused by prolonged pressure on the skin. They can happen to anyone, but usually affect people confined to bed or whom sit in a chair or wheelchair for long periods of time. Pressure ulcers can affect any part of the body that's put under pressure. They're most common on the bony parts of the body, such as the heel, elbows, hips, and base of the spine. They often develop gradually, but can sometimes form in a few hours. Early symptoms. Early symptoms of a pressure ulcer include part of the skin becoming discoloured. People with pale skin tend to get red patches, while people with dark skin tend to get purple or blue patches. Discoloured patches not turning white when pressed. A patch of skin that feels warm, spongy or hard. Pain or itchiness in the affected area. A doctor or nurse may call a pressure ulcer at this stage a category 1 pressure ulcer. So when to get medical advice? Is a service user, if the service user develops symptoms of a pressure ulcer, then action needs to be taken. It will probably continue to get worse if nothing's done about it. The service user should be regularly monitored and offered advice and treatment to reduce the risk of pressure ulcers, but sometimes they can develop even with the highest standards of care. If you think a pressure area or ulcer may be present, then you should inform the seniors or nurse team, and a referral may need to be made to the GP, tissue viability nurse, who can advise on steps to be taken and a treatment plan. Get medical advice immediately if there is red, swollen skin, pus coming out of the pressure ulcer or wound, cold skin and fast heartbeat, severe or worsening pain, or a high temperature. Latter symptoms. The skin may not be broken at first, but if the pressure ulcer gets worse, it can form an open wound or blister, and this is categorized as a grade 2 pressure ulcer, or a deep wound that reaches the deeper layers of the skin. This is a grade 3 pressure ulcer. A very deep wound that may reach the muscle and bone. This is a category of a grade 4 pressure ulcer. These symptoms could be a sign of serious infection that needs to be treated as soon as possible. So how do we treat pressure ulcers and how do we protect the skin? So treatment for pressure ulcers depend on how severe they are. For some people, they're an inconvenience that needs basic nursing care or just care in general. For others, they can be serious and lead to life-threatening complications such as blood poisoning, so sepsis. Ways to stop pressure ulcers getting worse and how to help them heal include applying dressings that speed up the healing process and may help to relieve pressure, moving and regular changing your position, the repositioning of the service user, using specially designed static foam mattresses or cushions, or dynamic mattresses and cushions that have a pump to provide a constant flow of air, eating a healthy and balanced diet, a procedure to clean the wound and remove damaged tissue, debridement, and surgery to remove damaged tissue and close the wound is sometimes used in the most serious cases for treatment of pressure ulcers. Who's most at risk of getting these pressure ulcers? So anyone can get a pressure ulcer, but the following things can make them more likely to form. And this is obviously relevant to most of you listening today. For your service users, being over 70, older people are more likely to have mobility problems and skin that's more easily damaged through dehydration and other factors. Being confined to bed with illness or after surgery, inability to move some or all of the body, paralysis, obesity, urinary incontinence and bowel incontinence, a poor diet, and medical conditions that affect blood supply, make skin more fragile or cause movement problems such as diabetes, peripheral arterial disease, kidney failure, heart failure, MS, multiple sclerosis, and Parkinson's disease. So how can we prevent these? It can be difficult to completely prevent a pressure ulcer, but there are some things that the care team can do to reduce the risk. And these include regular changing service users' position. If unable to change position themselves, then a member of the care team will need to assist. Check the service user's skin every day for early signs and symptoms of pressure ulcers. Promoting and providing a healthy, balanced diet that contains enough protein and a good variety of vitamins and minerals. If you're concerned about the service user's diet, then refer to a dietitian, may be required and help. Stopping smoking. Smoking makes someone more likely to get pressure ulcers because of the damage caused to blood circulation. And carry out risk assessments. Monitor the service user's skin and use preventative measures such as regular repositioning. And this is a source from the NHS website. So all of these things that are there to prevent the pressure ulcers, you can actually do them within the Carebeans platform. And I'm going to show you some examples in a minute. So also, you can also do a pressure ulcer care plan, and you can include the risk assessment Waterlow. So complete a Waterlow pressure ulcer prevention tool, and this will ascertain the risk of developing a pressure ulcer. Record in the care plan the issues, vulnerabilities, risks, the goals of having no pressure ulcers, current ulcers to heal, and the support required to achieve that goal. If the service user is at risk of developing a pressure area, then you may wish to do a further risk assessment with a summary of how the risk will be managed. On the Waterlow website, there is a range of information about pressure ulcer care and how to spot and prevent pressure ulcers that may turn into ulcers. And you can go to this website, thejudywaterlow.co.uk, which may help you decide on the support necessary for particular pressure ulcers or clients. So suggested actions, all actions can be timed. Really important that they can be timed. So it may be 2 hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, every 15 minutes. So what we have a repositioning chart to ensure service users are repositioned regularly. You can do a skin bundles check. So the skin bundles, this is checking for the surface, e.g. mattress and protection, the skin and inspection, keep moving, which is the repositioning, incontinence, which is the clean and dry, and nutrition, which is offered. And that obviously then spells the skin acronym there. And then we have food and fluid charts to monitor a healthy, balanced diet and hydration status. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to go onto the Carebeans platform. I'm going to click on here. It'll take you directly to the platform. I'm going to log in with my username and password. And then here, what we now have is the platform here. We're going to use a service user called Sally Webb for our examples. And then here is Sally's care plan. Okay, this is basically her suite of individual icons. So this is where all your personal information kept, the calendar, the meds. This is a flash alert system. This is the hospital transfer, and these are all your quick access reports. But today we're going to concentrate on the pressure ulcer care plan. So once I've clicked into the care plan, it's got the standard format. You've got your assessments, also includes the Waterlow, which we're going to go through. You've got your consent and mental capacity, and you've also got your risk profiling as well. The screen hasn't shared. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing and then share again, and hopefully the screen will share. Let's go on to that one, share. Okay, I'm hoping the screen is now shared. Sorry about that. So we're going to go on to this application now. Excellent. Everyone can see it. So I'm using Sally Webb for this example. I'm going into her particular plan of care, and we're going to use the pressure ulcer care plan. And I'm going to conduct a review so you can see exactly how I do this. So here is your review summary. So this is where you do your you'll do your monthly review, and it alerts you every month, and it'll give you a it'll automatically give you your next review within the care plan. Sally and her daughter have been involved in this plan of care and made decisions about support Sally needs to keep her skin healthy and free from pressure areas. So that's the review. Within this, we've added the Waterloo pressure ulcer risk assessment. So she's got an average BMI. Her skin type is tissue, paper, and dry. There is a drop-down list, so you would choose from the drop-down list. This will add points to the assessment score. Continence, urinary incontinence. Mobility, restless and fidgety. She's a female. She's 81 plus. Has the service user lost weight recently? No. Patient eating poorly or lack of appetite? No. And then you've got special risk factors here if she has any. And then all you then do is score without saving, and it's told you that she's at high risk, and you can save your assessment there. And that will then record that the assessment has been recorded here, and it will give you a copy whenever you want to pull that off. That is always available to you, the copy of the actual Waterloo pressure ulcer risk assessment tool. So we've done the assessments. Then we have to go in and produce a care plan. You can do a wound assessment here if you want to as well, but it's best to do the wound assessment from the body map now. We have a wound assessment in the body map. So here we now have what the service users needs. So here is a drop-down function, so you can drop them down if they have a grade 1 pressure ulcer. And then here you can use pre-configured text, so you can physically drop pressure ulcer, risk, person-centered detail for the need, and then you delete as appropriate to make the text appropriate for Sally. And you can do the same on the goal to remain pressure ulcer free, etc. And that can be dropped in, so it's really easy to update the care plan. And then here is the support required to achieve the goals. So again, you can use your pre-configured text here, and it'll drop in all the information you need, and you can adapt that text to your own specific requirements. So this is now saying assess pressure ulcer risk monthly. The following support needs to be given. Skin assessment checks, 5-step model for pressure ulcer prevention, surface skin, keep Sally moving, incontinence and nutrition. You've also got the Waterloo guidance here, and you can delete as appropriate. She's 15 plus, so she's at higher risk. So all of that is then written within the care plan. You will get a copy of this care plan so you can read it as well. We then have the care plan risk assessment. So we've actually added a risk assessment in, and it's risk of a pressure ulcer area. The risk type is skin damage, and the risk name is risk of a pressure ulcer. This is major for Sally, and it's possible. If it's unlikely or rare, the risk changes, okay? But if it's possible, because she's over the age, it's detailing it's a high risk. If it's likely, it'll then take it as a severe risk. So you choose what the impact is on the service user and what's the probability of it, and it will automatically give you a risk. So the risk details: Sally is at high risk, particularly due to reduced mobility and fragile skin. If she cannot reposition herself properly, that's the trigger. Who might be harmed? Herself. And then we've got the risk management here. Please refer to the support section in the care plan. Reassess the Waterloo monthly. Skin assessment in place. Skin assessment. Repositioning chart in place. And record food and fluids. So the next thing we have to do is, obviously, it's great that we have the care plan. We now have to put the actions in place. So how are we going to make sure that we reduce the risk of the pressure ulcer? So we do have a body map here. So you can detail on the body. There's no pressure ulcers, but if, for example, you have redness, you can then detail it here, pressure area, and you can tell what type of pressure type there is. It might be no pressure areas, areas of redness, potential pressure area. And then you can record and condition manage off your body map by creating actions. Most importantly here, we then have the actions. So we have a repositioning chart, and we also have a skin bundles. So we've created these in the background. So they're all ready for you and the carer to go in and create the skin bundles and the repositioning chart. So the repositioning chart, it's every 4 hours, but you can change this. It could be every 2 hours, for example. And the care plan, it needs to be links. It'll be skin integrity. Save. And then the skin bundles, this is going to be done 4 hourly as well. So it's there for 4 hours. So if we now go to the carers page, go on to Sally, and then you're going to see some flashing alerts here. So here you can see fluid intake. She needs some fluid intake. So we're pushing fluids every 3 hours. So we can then put what she's drunk. On the app, you can do food and fluids at the same time. So if none of you are using the app, please do so. It works on and offline. It's really, really easy to use. You just download it from the Play Store or the iOS. And then you can detail what they've had for lunch, dinner, breakfast, and as and when. You'd obviously do this at appropriate timings. But as you can see here, these are the ones we're concentrating on. So we have repositioning, when it was last done, when it's next due. And you can alert the operations dashboard if this isn't done. It'll actually alert the managers that the reposition hasn't occurred when it should have occurred. And once I've recorded all of these and the skin bundles, I can say I've checked the mattress, I've done a skin inspection, I've repositioned her, she's clean and dry, and nutrition offered. Sally is all well and sitting in lounge on pressure cushion, for example. Okay, I'm just putting a note here. You'd obviously put more person-centered notes on than that. So here is all of her actions that we need to do, but these are the ones that we were concentrating on today. If she has got a leg ulcer dressing, she's got one here. She's got some cream applications. She's got social activity. She's got some evening checks, personal care. And then this details date and time of when things have been done. Okay, so you can see if I just refresh this page, what you'll see is all the notes that we've done. So you've got Lucy's notes, meal, reposition, temperature, bowel movement, an ad hoc note. And then we've got my fluids, the breakfast, the repositioning, the skin check, the skin check as well. And then up here, these are any alerts that you've put in place, so falls alerts, etc. So that pretty much details how you can make sure that you are doing, you've got your care plan in place and you've got your particular actions and you're making sure that you're monitoring them. And as I said before, the operations dashboard will give you any latest alerts. So this is brand new to the system. You can now say, if Jack hasn't had 400 mils of fluid by 12 o'clock, I want it to alert me. And then you've got your action histories here. So you can actually put priority on missed or late actions now. So management can then, you can then obviously pick out what things are priority for you and what can sort of like not be missed, but go overdue. So we've got this new action alert feature there, and then here's your dashboard telling you exactly what's going on in your home. Just going to get it off full screen. So I'm going to go back to the PowerPoint now. Current slide. So here, that was all the suggested actions, and that's the end of the today's webinar. Thank you very much for attending. I will stay on for any questions that you may have. I may be able to answer them. If not, I will get Lucy, our nurse advisor, to get in contact with you, and she will be able to assist on any questions that I can't answer. I should be able to answer most of them. I hope you enjoyed that today. Thank you very much for attending. If there's any questions, please put them in the chat. Otherwise, I will see you next month. Please go to the website www.carebeans.co.uk and you can participate in the next webinar. It's on a different subject every month. If there is any subjects you would like us to cover, please put them in the chat or email us at info@carebeans.co.uk. Be quite happy to cover some subjects you guys want to cover as well. Thanks very much indeed, and I will speak to you soon. There's nothing in the chat at the moment. Is there any questions, or just quickly I'll wait a couple more minutes and then. So thank you very much. I'm going to stop recording.